This short video has two parts. In the first part, we will demonstrate how teachers or caring adults can provide an enabling and safe environment to adolescents. When we say enabling, it means providing them an environment where they feel free to open up. We will see some helpful and unhelpful practices when providing support. We will see how sometimes just a conversation and providing this support by itself can help an adolescent who is distressed to find his way out, and how at times it may lead to more conversations and prolonged support. In the second part of the video, we will look at how adolescents can be provided support through small group sessions. Small group sessions work best when a group of students have a common problem, such as homesickness in a residential setting or exam anxiety. We will also see how at times, if group support may be inadequate or may not work, the adolescent may need additional individual support and or referral to another professional. In this first part of the video, we will focus on how an adult can effectively communicate with adolescents and the common patterns of communication that are ineffective and tend to drive an adolescent away from adults. While generally communicating with adolescents, there are some guiding principles that we need to keep in mind. First of all, providing them an environment that is safe, non-judgmental and non-threatening. This would help in building a rapport. Second is that all interactions happen in an environment of respect. Third, they are given the freedom to express their thoughts and ideas even if they do not match with yours, and are allowed to make decisions. They have the autonomy to make decisions. However, if the young person has stress or is very sad and disturbed, he or she might not be able to come up with suggestions of their own. The person supporting them can then suggest some options and help the younger person to make a decision. Confidentiality and privacy are maintained in all interactions. This gives the feeling of safety.
Let's now see some unhelpful and helpful practices. Arun has been very quiet and distracted during class. After the class is over, the teacher stops him as he is going out.
Okay students, you take this question number 6 from unit number 5 for homework. Do your work sincerely and show me your copies on Monday, okay? Thank you, sir. My pleasure. See you on Monday. Arun, I noticed that you are not paying attention in the class today. What has happened to you?
Yes sir, sorry sir, I was feeling bad. I was very confident that I would win the match. I had practiced harder and everyone said that they were sure I would win. But on the day of the tournament, I am not sure what happened. I can't get over it and I am still thinking about it.
Oh, why are you thinking about it? Now you should worry about your exams and not about sports. Just leave it now.
But sir,
Arun, I know that you like to play badminton, but next year you would be in 10th standard. Do you want to continue to waste your time and do badly in the examination? It's time to think about your future. I am saying all this for your good. Let's do one thing. Today during study time, you sit next to my table. I want you to study and stop thinking about sports. Sports are good, but you should not waste so much of time on it.
okay sir.
These are typical responses that adults give to adolescents when they come with a problem. They give advice or tell the adolescent what they should do.
Oh, why are you thinking about it? Now you should worry about your exams and not about sports. Just leave it now.
They impose their own beliefs.
Sports are good, but you should not waste so much of time on it.
They offer solutions.
I am saying this for your good. Let's do one thing. Today during study time, you sit next to my table.
They want to take control.
I want you to study and stop thinking about sports.
The teacher had good intentions and thought he was helping the adolescent, but unfortunately, his behavior was only pushing him away. Now, let's see some examples of positive support.
We are discussing about Newton's third law of motion. What it says? It says for every action there is equal and opposite reaction. Oh, class is over. We shall discuss it tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Hey Arun, I noticed you are very much quiet in my class today. You seem to be disturbed. What happened?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. I was feeling bad. I was very confident that I would win the match. I practiced very hard and everyone said that they were sure I would win the match. But on the day of the tournament, I'm not sure what happened. I just can't get over it and I'm still thinking about it.
Means you are upset about not winning the game.
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me more about it.
So I practiced almost every day and I was very confident. But when I started playing, my first 2 shots went off and I started getting nervous. I looked at my opponent. He was giving a very confident smile. My spectators seemed to be laughing at me and at that time I lost my confidence.
See how the teacher just allowed Arun to talk and listen to him patiently. He was just empathetic, and unlike the earlier scene, Arun felt like talking to his teacher.
Sunil, you know what? I really like Gurpreet sir. Yesterday, I was feeling bad about my game and I didn't pay attention in his class. Instead of scolding me, he asked me what happened. I really like to talk to him.
Yes, I agree, Arun. Whenever I have a problem in physics, I go to him. He explains me everything. And they will be always ask me to figure out the problem. He is very patient.
Yes, he is. Yesterday, I was also feeling very bad. But after talking to Gurpreet sir, I feel very comfortable. Now, I won't let this failure get at me and I'll practice harder and I'll perform better in the next tournament.
Yeah, that's good.
All this teacher did was provide students a patient hearing, empathy and non-judgmental response. He gave them the autonomy, but see the difference it made to the student. Arun felt better after talking to the teacher and was able to move on from his preoccupation with the failure. Simi has been quiet and less participative for the last 1 week. The teacher has been noticing this. When she sees Simi with some friends, the teacher calls out to her.
Simi, good morning everybody. You please go. Simi, can you just wait? I just wanted to check something with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Simi, I noticed that you have been very quiet for the whole last week. Today, even in the sports, you did not participate very actively, which is very unusual for you. I'm very much concerned about you, Simi. What happened?
I'm extremely worried about my upcoming exam. I think it is no use. I'm going to fail.
Would you like to tell me more on why you feel that you will fail?
It always happens with chemistry. I had studied very hard. I memorized everything. But this time when I saw the paper, I answered the first 2 questions. And after that, when I read the third question, I just could not remember the formulas. And after that, I started getting very nervous. And then when I looked at the next questions, my mind just went blank. I could not remember anything. And at last, I had to leave the paper blank.
Okay, Simi. Did you share your experience with anyone?
Yes, some of my friends said they have experienced it too. And Lina was saying that is because I learned by heart. She said if you just try to memorize something without understanding, this happens. And Geeta said she too experienced something similar to me during her biology paper.
Lina is quite right. Simi, you are the 3rd student from standard 10th who has talked about feeling nervous while doing the examination or not able to remember anything while writing in the examination room. Now you are saying that some of your friends have had similar experiences. We call it exam anxiety. Now we are thinking of having a few group sessions with those students who have faced these situations. Well, I am going to put up a flyer on the notice board. You may look out for it and you may register your name there. Clear, Simi?
Yes,
Let's walk.
Here, the teacher listens to the student empathetically, asks facilitative questions and decides to have group sessions since there are so many students with the same problem. The teacher puts up a flyer and asks students to give their names if interested. 15 students register and she decides to have 2 groups as it may not be possible to deal with issues of more than 7 to 8 students at a time, even in a group support session. The first group meets in the library.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Thank you for coming today for this group session. Let's introduce ourselves. Just say your name and the class you belong to.
I am Siddhan from class 10th B.
I am Simi and I am also in standard 10B.
I am Mariam and I am in standard 10th C.
I am Abdul and I study in class 10th A.
I am Sangeeta and I am from class 10th C.
I am Geeta from class 10th C.
And you all know me well. I am Jyoti and you all call me Jyoti ma'am. You all know why we have come here. You all seem to have had a common experience, getting very nervous while writing an exam, which has a wrong effect while you answer the paper. There are some, those who are gone completely blank while writing the exam, while there are other people, those who forget something that they knew very well before the exam. But this happens very commonly with the students. You know, this is called exam anxiety. And there are various ways to tackle this problem. So today, in this group session, collectively we are going to find out the solutions for it.
You saw how the teacher began with step 1 in the group session, which is getting group members to introduce themselves, followed by explaining the purpose of the group session. While explaining, she also speaks of how common the problem is, by which she is normalizing the problem. Normalizing is very important so that everyone in the group feels that they are not alone in this and that there is nothing wrong with them. Now we will see how she proceeds to step 2, which is setting up some ground rules for the group.
Before we proceed, we have to have some ground rules. How would you like all the group members to behave so that we can share the feelings and experiences over here freely?
We should not share what we discuss here with other students.
Good point, Mariam. Confidentiality is one of the important points that should be taken care of in a group discussion like this. Do you all agree?
Yes.
So, ground rule 1, that whatever we discuss in this room remains here. What else?
Everyone should be given a chance to speak.
Yes, but we should not all speak at the same time. Then we would all be talking and no one will be listening.
That's good observation, Sangeeta. Let me include both the points as ground rules. Everyone should have an opportunity to speak and no two people should speak at the same time. Do you all agree?
Yes, we do.
Any more ideas before we move on?
We should not go out of the room when the session is on.
But what if we need to go to the bathroom?
Abdul, of course you can go to the bathroom. But let me put it down as ground rule that no one will be permitted to go out till the session gets over. Okay, so we have 4 ground rules for this group. And if there is no other point to add over here, I would like to proceed.
Nothing more to add.
Me too.
I would like to begin now with anyone in the group briefly describing their experience during their recent exam.
Ma'am, can I explain?
Okay.
It was my physics exam. I was well prepared with 4 of the 6 chapters. For the last 2, I did not get enough time and some of it I did not understand. But when I started reading the questions, I found that I think 5 were from the 2 chapters that I had not revised. I started getting nervous and when I began answering the questions, I just could not remember anything. My mind had gone completely blank.
Thank you for sharing, Sangeeta. Is there anyone with a different experience?
Mine was similar to Sangeeta's.
Mine too.
So when you got nervous, do you remember what was happening to you?
I could feel my heart beating fast and I started sweating.
I had somewhat of similar experiences, but my mind didn't go blank. I just started feeling nervous, could not remember everything, just bits and pieces of what I learned.
Yes, I too. Like Mariam, I knew everything before the exams, but when I read the questions, I started feeling nervous and I could not remember what I had learned. I had marked keywords for some answers, but I could not even remember them.
Siddhant, you have been very quiet. What has been your experience?
Yes, whenever I have to answer the maths question paper, this happens to me. I hate math. Earlier, I used to get passing marks, but now even before the exam, I began to sweat and forget everything.
Thank you for sharing your experiences so honestly. So from whatever I have heard from all of you, I find if you don't answer to 1 or 2 questions, you feel very anxious or your heartbeat goes fast. So the consequence is either your mind goes blank and you forget everything, or you just cannot remember the way you have learned before the exam?
Yes.
This was step 3. After getting the students to share their experiences, the teacher summarized their experiences and the common concern among them. You may have noticed that the teacher just allowed the students to share without providing any solutions. She allowed everyone to speak without focusing on just one student. Now you will see step 4. Here the teacher provides the students an explanation of what is exam anxiety, why it happens, and some ways of dealing with it.
What you all have described is called exam anxiety. There can be various reasons for it. If you memorize without using a systematic method to retain the information, or the other thing could be that you haven't understood the concept or the subject and you have tried to memorize it word for word, or just the experience of the exam paper before you makes you nervous.
Yeah, I think I memorize everything without understanding.
I simply get nervous before any exam.
This often happens when we focus on memorizing without trying to understand and apply what we learn to our surroundings. For example, if we have a chapter in physics on sound, we can learn the principles easier if we apply the same to a musical instrument. It could get easier for us to learn the principles after applying the learning on the practical situations. So there are two aspects of the problem to deal with. One is the emotional experience of anxiety that you call nervousness, and the other is actually dealing with the reasons and tackling with it. But in today's session, we are going to discuss about the emotional experience, how to cope with it. And when next time we meet again, we will deal with the causes and tackling with it. Some of you may have had these experiences more than once, and some maybe only once. But tell me one thing, when you get nervous, has anyone ever managed to get over it? Like calm down and going back to the exam paper?
This is step 5. The teacher is trying to elicit ways of coping from the students.
Yes, once I started getting nervous and then I tried to distract myself. I started thinking of my favorite song in my mind and I started singing. तेरे मस्त मस्त दो नैन मेरे दिल का ले गए जान.
Okay, remember the ground rules. Thanks Abdul for sharing. But tell me one thing, did you really do it and did it really help?
Yes ma'am, it helped me to calm down. And then I began the answers that I knew and then I took up the answers that I was not sure of.
That's really a good strategy. And this is related to the third aspect of the problem, which is how to answer the question. Anyone else managed to calm down when the nervousness started?
I tried to calm down. I tried to distract myself by thinking of the holiday after the exam, by thinking of the fun that I will have. But that didn't help.
So, why do you think that you were still blank, Simi?
Maybe, as my friend said, I had learned everything by heart without understanding, so I could not remember anything.
So, what could you have done?
The teacher was doing very well with her session, but when Simi spoke, she made a mistake that should be avoided in the group session. She began to focus on Simi's individual problem. While she laid the structure of how she will proceed with the session, she did it very well.
So, we have two aspects of the problem to deal with. One is the emotional experience of anxiety that you call nervousness, and the other is actually dealing with the reasons and tackling with it. But today in this group session, we will deal with the emotional experience, how to cope with it. And when next time we meet again, we will deal with the causes and tackling with it.
However, she seems to have forgotten what she said while talking to Simi. We should get her back on track. Maybe instead of asking Simi, why do you think you were still blank, she could take another route.
Okay, so Abdul tried to distract himself and it helped him. But when Simi tried to think of her holidays, it did not help. It means distractions sometimes help and sometimes may not. To get over the acute anxiety, the one way is to go for the relaxation exercises that I will teach you. After doing the relaxation exercises, your mind gets relaxed, and once you are relaxed, you can come up with the solutions. All relax and close your eyes. Let your limbs and your body relax in the chair. Take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out. Breathe in, breathe out. Empty your mind of all thoughts. Concentrate on your breath, getting in, going out. As you breathe in, say it's okay or peace in your mind. Now open your eyes slowly. Now how do you feel?
Very relaxed. But teacher, how can we do this in examination hall?
Yes, we cannot do it like this in the exam hall. But once you practice, you can even do it with your eyes open. You can just look down on the paper and do it. Your mind gets relaxed and then you can go back to the exam paper. I think we should stop here for today. If everybody practices the breathing technique, we can deal with the other aspects next time. Would you all like to meet again?
Yes.
When would you like to meet?
We can meet on Wednesday like we did today.
Ma'am, please can I bring my friend Leena?
I'm sorry, Simi. We have to continue with the same group. I'll be starting another group with other students. Once we begin, we cannot permit other students to join. I have a copy of handout on study skills which I'll be giving to you. Go through it, identify your problem and the techniques that appeal you. And when we meet next Wednesday, we'll discuss about the other aspects.
When the teacher starts teaching them the breathing exercise, it is step 6, where she is demonstrating a skill. It is necessary for the teacher to ask them to do it once more together so that they learn the skill thoroughly. This would be step 7. The final step, step 8, is when the teacher discusses next steps and plans for the next session.
Here you saw how the teacher systematically conducted the first session of group counseling. She used the same skills like paraphrasing and summarizing that are used in individual support sessions. However, it is very important to avoid some common errors that happen in group sessions. 1. Shifting to one individual's problem. You saw how that happened. Another common error would be saying something like, you all have been feeling exactly the same. While empathizing with group members and drawing on common experiences, we have to remember to make them feel that their experiences were unique in some ways, for no two people can feel something in the same way.
In the next session, the teacher could go through some common problems with methods used for memorizing or studying and make them practice study skills. After that, she could go through the techniques of answering an exam. Sometimes mock exam experiences can be used to practice relaxation and so on. This group met several times and many improved, but Geeta did not open up even though the teacher tried a lot. The teacher realized that Geeta may not benefit from these sessions and she needs more individual support after the 5th group session.
Geeta, will you please wait here? I want to talk to you. You look scared, Geeta. I wanted to ask you if you are really getting any benefit out of these group sessions?
Yes, ma'am, but
Yes, Geeta.
it is not only the nervousness during exams. I can't concentrate on my studies. I am so weak in science and keep worrying that I will fail. My parents have so many expectations from me.
Geeta, I think you can continue coming to these sessions. And I think that both of us should meet and talk more about what is troubling you. Why don't you come tomorrow evening? We can talk more and know more.
Okay.
Sometimes group support may not help all group members. There could be a child who has deeper problem and would need additional individual support.
With this, we come to the end of this video. You have seen how we can build relationships with adolescents with the right approach and helpful communication techniques. You have also seen how a group support session can be held and how support should be provided as per the needs of the adolescent. Such group processes help members to better relate to each other and they can continue to support one another. I hope you find this video helpful.